We were on National Highway 40 on the way to East Giantya Hills. Today, our destination is a faraway and remote village still untouched by the complexities of towns and cities, some 137 kilometers away from Shillong. It was a cold morning as the mist started rising from the valley to envelop the road we were on. It was a lovely sight. We took the bypass, avoiding the Jowai traffic, and soon entered East Giantya Hills district, a land easily identifiable by the piles of coal heaped on the roadside. The mining of coal in Giantya Hills started during the British period in the second half of the 19th century at Lakadong coal fields, now called Lom Muyong. The coal was ferried by boat to Bangladesh. Later, due to the difficult terrain and the cost of production, further mining of coal was discontinued until the 1970s when it was revived. Large-scale commercialization of coal mining began from 1980s onwards, and huge quantities of coal were carried to different parts of India. We moved via Sutunga village and continued along a dusty road to the Shnong Rim Ridge. Primarily, coal mining activity is the main occupation of the people. Local farmers have changed their occupation to coal mine owners or coal dealers to support their livelihood. After the NGT National Green Tribunal ban on coal mining in the state of Meghalaya, the large-scale mining has been affected. The Giantya Hills is richly endowed with natural resources with coal and limestone deposits. The total estimated inferred reserve of coal in Giantya Hills is 40 million tons, spreading over about 60 square kilometers, and 2,200 million tons of limestone. The journey to our destination is a long one, the latter half of the 40-odd kilometers from Lat Sutunga taking more than 2.5 hours. We finally reach Saipung village after 4 long hours on the road. It is one of the unique villages of the Khasi Giantya Hills because it is inhabited by the Byate tribe, one of the oldest tribes having their own identity, a rich and distinctive history, culture and dialect. There are about 250 Byate families residing in Saipung village. The population as per the census in 2011 was 1,431. An interesting feature of Saipung is that it had a higher literacy rate compared to Meghalaya. In 2011, The literacy rate of Saipung village was 92.3% compared to 74.42% of Meghalaya. The primary language spoken in the village is Biate, while English, Hindi, Khasi and Jaintia are also used for interacting with visitors. Saipung village is the headquarters of the Saipung Community and Rural Development Block. The Community and Rural Development Block covers an area of 846 square kilometers and consists of 97 villages as per the 2011 census. The roads in the village are dusty and narrow, an indication and symptom of the economic backwardness of the area. The majority of the inhabitants are dependent on cultivation for their livelihood. The village is located on a ridge and is surrounded by forests. All the inhabitants are Christians by faith. We drive past the village road to the house of our host, the president of the Biate Cultural Organization of Meghalaya, Mr. Fowler Darnay. He, along with the secretary, Mr. Laltan Hola Darnay, presented us with a traditional gift as a token of love and welcomed us to the village.
This small gift, I want to hand over it young woman as a token of love and care for your visit in the name of dedication.
I for once was humbled by this act of kindness and was impressed by the hospitality of our Biate host. We then sat down over a cup of refreshing tea and snacks, striking up an interesting conversation on the many aspects of the Biate social and cultural life. Mr. Fowler's father, who is in his late 90s, was a wealth of information. Surprisingly, at this grand old age, he was healthy and provided us with some insight into the Biate way of life. In a predominantly agrarian society, the people of Saipung village were peaceful and hardworking. They carried on with their lives every day, attending to their work in the fields and in other activities including weaving. Infrastructure like 3 lower primary schools, 3 upper primary schools and 1 high school are located in the village. There is a primary health center and a post office. Recently, most of the village roads and footpaths have been constructed under the MNREGA scheme, which has also provided employment to the villagers. Soon after, with our guides, we move on to explore a cultural heritage site of the Biates. The curiosity to learn more about this ancient tribe were foremost in our minds. We travelled some distance away from Saipung and on the way stopped to catch a glimpse of the Assam border. A few kilometers away behind me is the Assam border, and this is the extreme eastern part of Jaintia Hills, and dividing this border is the mighty Kupli River. We are fortunate because of the good weather to see clearly some part of the Kupli River in the distance. On our way back to Saipung, we were fortunate to pass by a local gathering where men and women in their colorful traditional attire were singing and dancing at the location. The Biates still preserve their tradition with unique song and dance. The heritage site is at a secluded spot in a place called Talangpui. A short walk from the main road takes us to an area where the stone monuments of the Biates were found. The stone vessels or lungzubel were rice beer jars made of stone and were important to the Biate people because rice beer played an important role in the rituals and festivals of the people. There were quite a few lungzubel or rice beer vessels scattered all over the site, remnants of the cultural practice of the Biate tribe which have been forgotten today. These stone artifacts have survived and stand testimony to the megalithic culture of a people who are standing now on the crossroads of modernity and their past. This is a relic of the past. This is a stone vessel believed to be a place where the Biate people poured their rice beer during their rituals. From Lungzubel, we were guided to an opening where another stone monument, Lung Mai Cham, meaning an altar stone, was shown to us. This stone altar is believed to have been a place of sacrifice and offering of the Biate forefathers. The story of the flat stone altars, apart from being used for rituals, has been lost in the hazy cobwebs of the past. I felt that this place is a treasure trove of the Biate tribe and it deserves to be preserved at all costs, not because they are heritage, but because they are indispensable to the future generations. We returned to Saipung and took a trek to another site of stone monuments and legends located in a beautiful valley west of Saipung village called Kankuro. The Biate people are one of the oldest tribes of Mizoram, Assam and Meghalaya. The term Biate comes from the word Bia, which means speak or worship, and Te is a suffix denoting plurality. The two words Bia and Te combine to form Biate, which means worshipper. As we head towards the remains of Lungzubel, the path takes us through some forests, and suddenly the landscape opens up to the vast expanse of the beautiful Kankuro Valley. According to Biate legend and the elders of the tribe, the Biate had a rich stone culture. Erection and carving of stone monuments were common, and the rice beer jar or lungzubel played an important role in the rituals and festivals of the tribe. Besides the lungzubel, there were the lungmai cham, which means stone altar, where sacrifices were offered. It was believed, according to historians, that the Byate legendary hero Lam Li Ra and his followers arrived at their present homeland around the 13th century. We increased the pace of our walk, anxiously anticipating the heritage site. The scenic beauty of the valley all along, inspiring and instilling a feeling of calm and relaxation in our minds. We passed by some buffaloes with the owner as they were being used to transport wooden logs. Logging is unregulated and pretty high in this part of Meghalaya. The remoteness of the region is the main reason that such activity is unmonitored, and if this unchecked logging continues, Kankuro Valley may not look the same in the years to come. Further down the hill, we reach our destination of rice beer vessels or Lungzubel. It was an amazing location located in the midst of a green and lush valley. The setting for the monuments could not have been more beautiful than this. The stone jars at Kankuro have a connection with the spiritual world. These stone structures are the only evidence of the rich cultural past of the early Byate inhabitants. According to oral tradition, it was the legendary Byate hero who made the Lungzubel or stone container to store zu or rice beer in Kankuro Valley. The rice beer containers were used for preparing and preserving rice beer for festive seasons. The replica are also made in memory of the departed souls and placed near the graves. This practice of the early Byate was however abandoned. Earlier the Lungzubel were found in all of the Byate villages, but since the abandonment of the cultural practice, most of the Lungzubel were destroyed. On our way back, we met some locals who were returning from their day's work. A brief look into the baskets revealed a load of a local vegetable called samtrak in the Byate language and a kind of herb called lengser, which to my surprise had a lemony scent. We just came back from Lungzubel, the traditional ceremonial stones of the Byate people. This is the beautiful Kankuro Valley, and this was once a settlement, a village of the Byate people. From here they moved on to Saipung. By the time we got back to Saipung, it was dark. We had one last visit to complete, a journey. A traditional Byate house. We lodged ourselves in the warmth of the kitchen where a fire was burning. The rustic surrounding of bamboo and cane structures and the smoky ambience felt exotic and different. It was an experience that we did not expect when we set foot in the village. Traditional houses of the Biate people were made entirely from bamboo and comprised of 2 to 3 rooms. Similar to the Khasi Panar house, the kitchen was the common room where the family and visitors gathered. A very interesting ingredient in the food of the Biates was the ash of the firewood, which the locals added to their cooking. A taste of the liquid did not go too well with me. I guess you have to acquire the taste to like it. The kitchen tells the story of the tribe like no other place or situation. It is a microcosm of the society. After some time, we moved on to a neighboring kitchen, which is also the place of some traditional weaving. The inside of the kitchen was black with soot because of the smoke from the firewood burning. Above the fireplace, there was a bamboo platform where meat and rice were kept. Tribal kitchens are centers of family activity as well as symbols of the material culture of the tribe. Tools, food, architecture, social life, rituals are discernible in the nooks and corners of the room. The nimble hands of a horse move with ease as she showed us how the Biates weave traditionally on a simple bamboo structure. In fact, every Biate household is engaged in weaving. This aspect of the culture of the Biates will live on for many generations as it is a household-based activity, while the rituals like stone monuments of Lung Maicham and Lung Zubel have been forgotten because they were a community and social event linked to the traditional worship which were given up. Our journey to Saipung was coming to an end. It was a day well spent with wonderful people, a community that is unique for the simplicity and peaceful way of life. Today's journey is about a narrative about a people, the Biate community at the crossroads. It has been a learning experience for us here in Saipung village. Just a day in the village, but a lifetime of memories.